Okay. So the next topic is nothing but your digital filter. Okay. So now, uh, so far, all the designing that we have seen was basically analog. Now you should understand that. You should understand that the digital filters that we are going to design here is basically based on our analog filters only. Okay, so they say that these analog filtering methods are quite efficient, so we derive the digital filters from those. Okay, so analog filters are designed and then we go for transforming that to the digital one with simplest possible techniques. Okay, so basically there are four techniques. Okay, four techniques, and we are going to focus on only two, the ones which I have picked here. Okay, so it is essential that you know so far what we have done in order to go with these methods. Okay, so whatever specifications that they have given, from that we are designing an analog filter. That is nothing, we will get an analog transfer function, and the transfer function we are transforming it to a digital one. Okay, using two different methods. One is the bilinear transformation, another one is a impulse invariant transformation. So they just have what do you say, shown an A to D digital filter D to A structure. That is basically what input it would take, an analog input, and that would be further taken care by your digital filter, and that has to be again converted into wire. So they say this is a transfer, corresponding transfer function of this is equal to h of s, that is equivalent transfer function. Okay, when we transform this to a complete digital filter, it will be in z domain, that is h of z. Okay, so one thing you keep in mind here, the transfer function in the analog filters that we had got was h of s, and we are going to transform that into digital filter, and the transfer function that we should obtain will be h of z. Clear? So analog filter, you can mark however it is, HA of S, okay, or H of S, that is analog transfer function of analog filter. Here you are going to map the poles of your S plane to a corresponding unit circle, that is into I must say like into Z plane. Okay, so every single point, it is one-to-one transformation. So every single unique point in one particular domain will be exactly transformed into a unique point in the another domain, that is from your S to Z. Okay, that also we would see. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the bilinear transformation first. So four different methods are there, in four different efficient methods are there to convert what do you say, from your analog filter to digital one, but we are just making use of two. Okay, one is bilinear, another one is impulse invariant transformation. Okay, so here first we would talk about the bilinear transformation. Okay, now in bilinear transformation, this is the main thing here. This is the main thing here. Okay, whatever s you have, that s will be substituted by this particular formula. And how did we get this? Okay, so we make use of a trapezoidal rule here. Okay, trapezoidal, we are going to integrate a derivative between two different ranges, and we are going to apply a trapezoidal rule. Okay, so what is that, we'll see. Okay, now the derivative that they have considered for this transformation is this. Okay, once you take Laplace transform of it, ignoring all the initial conditions, you would end up getting this. Now what they are doing is they are going to find y of t out of it. Okay, and how are they doing it? They are going to integrate this. Okay, we are going to work on equation 1. See, to find y of t between the limits n minus 1 t to nt, where t is nothing but your sampling period. This t we would make use even in the problem. Okay, sampling period, we would integrate both. Now when we integrate both, we would get limit between n minus 1 to n minus 1 t to nt, and this both the side integrating. Okay, now we would go for applying your trapezoidal rule. See, after integration, all that you would get is by applying your limits on both the sides, you will get this. Okay, left hand side we are leaving as it is, because we are going to apply the trapezoidal rule to this and going to compare the LHS of both. Clear? Okay, so that's why I have marked this equation so that it will be easy for you people to understand. So what they have done is, according to the trapezoidal, you are going to apply the trapezoidal rule here, and according to that, what they say, if the value of p is very small, okay, the integral part that you have, this can be approximated by taking the mean of the height of this particular, that is consider x of t itself, between these two limits, and then multiplying by the width. So width also they are assuming as t here, okay, and this x of t, okay, between this taken the mean, see, t is small, the area can be approximated by taking the mean height of x of t between two limits, okay. So you have applying the upper higher and the lower limit and taking the mean of it and multiplying it by the width, okay. So now when you compare your fourth and fifth equation, you can see that you would end up getting the LHS of this is fourth equation is equal to the RHS of your right equation, fifth equation, okay, fine, all right. Now when we say that we had made an assumption here that t is very small, okay. Now when t is small, you can very easily go for ignoring t wherever you have. So x of nt would be approximately equal to x of n. Similarly, y of nt will be approximately equal to y of n. So substitute that in the above equation, you would end up getting this. Okay, now again taking Z transform, okay, taking Z transform on both the side, you are getting this, that is x of z equal to 2 by t 1 minus z inverse 1 plus z inverse y of z. Okay, now comparing equation 2 and 6, what is the equation 2? Our equation is this, s of y is equal to x of s. Now you are comparing equation 2 and 6. So there it was x of s, here it is x of z. So transforming from s to z, that is what is the main motive, all that we would get is s will be, see, that was second equation was x of s equal to s into y of s. So you are transforming this particular plane to the z plane. So you are comparing, so your s would turn out to be s equal to 2 by t 1 minus z inverse of z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Similarly, if you are transforming the reverse z to s, you would end up getting this. Okay, all right. Now this is the main thing that you need to understand here. Okay, this is the very important thing that we would make use, okay, in the bilinear transformation. So once after you design the analog filter, if you are supposed to transform that into the digital one, in the transfer function wherever you have s, you would be substituting this. Clear? Okay. Now now I tell you about the conversion, that is the transformation, that is every point in the s plane is equivalently mapped to a unit circle, that is in the z plane, right? Okay, now how do we obtain that is again with a small derivation, okay, that is we know this, okay, bilinear transformation equation, that is s is equal to 2 by t, which we derived just now, that is rewritten as this. Now s is considered to be a sigma plus j omega, and z is r e to the power j omega. So r is nothing but the radius, okay, radius of the unit circle. Okay, so you are substituting the value wherever you have see s is replaced by this LHS, r is replaced by this. So you would end up expanding it to the power j omega and both the numerator and denominator, and again rationalizing the denominator. Okay, you would end up getting, so they are separating here. Okay, now they are separating here what is your real part and your imaginary part. So real part turns out to be this, and the imaginary part turns out to be this. Now out of this they have made few conclusions, that is if the r value is less than 1, we get sigma less than 0. Okay, now probably from this you cannot understand much, but the statement would make it clear. Okay, exactly, I told you, like bilinear transformation, exactly where does it, every unique point is transformed, every poles that you have is being transformed from one domain to another, right? So where exactly it falls, okay, that is what we are trying to map here. Okay, from the s plane to the z plane, from the s plane to a z plane, in the sense like mod of z1 unity circle it is. Okay, so where exactly it is mapping, whether it is inside inside, whether it is outside, whether it is exactly on the unit circle, where exactly it is. So for that three conditions. So if r is less than 1, okay, if r is less than 1, it means that the left hand side of the S plane, whatever you had at the LHS side of the S plane, whichever poles, that will be mapped inside the circle. Okay, circle. See, this is a unit circle. Okay, what if the value of r is greater than 0? In that case, whatever you had at the right hand side of the S plane, it will be mapped outside the unit circle. And if the value of r is equal to 1, then the imaginary axis in the S domain is mapped to the circle that is exactly centered at 0. Okay, so where I can just draw. See, this is a case. Okay, so I should have drawn a line here. Okay, exactly at the center point, exactly at this is. Okay, so if it is less than 0, equal to 0, greater than 0, if it is less than r is less than 1, that is sigma is less than 0, it is inside. Okay, if the otherwise it is outside, that is when sigma is greater than 0, it is lying outside the plane. See, this is two different planes transformed. This was S plane, this is your unit circle, that is nothing but for the digital one. Okay, now when sigma is equal to 0, it exactly lies at the center. Okay, that is z equals to 0. Here, okay, now the design procedure that you may have to follow for what do you say, designing this digital filter. Okay, so we have something called as your pre-wrapping. Okay, so pre-wrapping, for the first step, it states that you are supposed to pre-wrap the every specified band edge. Okay, this is very essential for you to understand. The first thing they're telling is you need to pre-wrap. Okay, now see this you have now, see, this is also omega, this is also omega, this is capital, this is small. Okay, so please don't get confused. In the video I'll be telling if I say W, understand it is not W, it will be omega here. For this particular topic alone I'll say that, so that you don't get confused. Okay, this is analog frequency, this is digital frequency. Clear? Okay, digital frequency of the passband, analog frequency of the passband. Okay, so there should not be any confusion in that. Okay, all right. So pre-wrap each specified band edge frequency of the digital filter to a corresponding band edge frequency of an analog filter using the equation. See, this is pre-wrapping. There is nothing but helping you to map every corresponding frequency that you have. Okay, you have to the two different domains. Okay, so here we are starting from the analog filter design, then converting to a digital one, right? So we require this analog frequency. So in case if they have given you this omega p and omega s, okay, that is nothing but the digital frequencies. In that case, first thing that you will have to do is you will have to find this analog frequency. Okay, so how will you do that? You will do that by 2 by t tan of omega p by 2, 2 by t tan of omega s by 2. Clear? Okay, so this is omega dash p, omega dash s. Okay, to differentiate. We can consider the value of, usually the value of t is taken as 1 here. Okay, for this particular step, okay, t is taken as 1. Why? Because they say it is very convenient for the computation. If you have different values, it would be, computation would become complex. So they say take value of t as 1 here. Okay, whatever value of kp, ks and ap, as is given, leave it as it is. It does not change. Whether they have given kp, ks also, you can find out ap and as from that. Okay, all right. Designed an analog filter, that is H of as, of the desired type according to the pre-wrap specification. That is, with respect to omega p and omega s, ap and as given, you go for designing an analog filter as you had been doing so far. Clear? And get the transfer function HA of s. Then, after finding out the transfer function H of as, that is the analog filter transfer function, okay, you convert that into digital filter transfer function, that is nothing but H of z, by substituting the value of s by 2 by t 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse, considering t as 1 second. Clear? Okay, so the 4 steps here in the flow, like a step by step, again they have represented same way, digital specification. Okay, so omega p, omega s, omega whatever they have given, the digital specification will be given. You pre-wrap that, okay, convert that into analog frequencies, use that analog frequency and the value of attenuation to design the analog filter, get the transfer function of the analog filter, convert that into digital filter by substituting wherever S is there as the equation for your bilinear transformation. Clear? Hopefully it's fine. Okay, so just the relationship they are showing here. Okay, this we would see when it comes to problems so that you don't get confused here. Okay.